Olivia, I was thinking, we've been together 8 years and we still haven't sat down to properly talk about our long-term financial goals together.
Honestly, Ryan, every time we try, it either gets awkward or one of us gets defensive. It's easier to just avoid it completely.
But that's exactly the problem, isn't it? Avoiding it doesn't make the financial decisions disappear. It just means we're making them separately, without alignment.
I know, and I think a lot of couples do the same thing. It feels safer to keep money conversations short, surface level, or not at all.
So we want to ask you, have you and your partner ever had a real, honest money conversation? Drop it in the comments because you're not alone.
And if these kinds of calm, honest financial discussions are what you're looking for, consider subscribing. We talk through real decisions that matter for long-term financial stability together.
Most couples don't avoid money conversations because they're irresponsible. They avoid them because money carries emotional weight that most people aren't prepared to navigate together.
There's fear attached to money. Fear of judgment, fear of being seen as the one who spent too much or saved too little over the years.
And when fear drives the silence, couples end up making major financial decisions, buying homes, investing, borrowing, without a shared understanding of where they actually stand.
What makes this dangerous isn't the disagreement itself. It's the assumption that both partners are on the same page when they've never actually confirmed that together.
Research consistently shows that financial disagreements are one of the leading causes of relationship stress, separation, and long-term dissatisfaction between otherwise compatible, financially capable couples.
But here's the part that gets overlooked. Most of those couples weren't fighting about money because they had different values. They were fighting because of different information.
One partner might be quietly investing aggressively, while the other assumes there's a safety net being built. Both are acting reasonably, but in completely different directions.
That misalignment is what creates the crisis, not a dramatic financial failure, but a slow accumulation of decisions made without mutual awareness, trust, or shared strategy.
We've seen this play out in our own conversations too. Early on, I was focused on growing our portfolio without clearly communicating the risk exposure we were carrying.
And I was prioritizing protection, insurance, emergency reserves, without fully understanding how Ryan's investment strategy was supposed to support our long-term income goals together.
Neither of us was wrong, but we were solving different problems simultaneously, assuming the other person understood the full picture when we'd never actually drawn it together.
That's the core issue most couples face. Not selfishness, not irresponsibility, just two people managing financial anxiety in isolation instead of building a shared strategy together as partners.
The conversation most couples never have is simple but uncomfortable. What are we actually worth right now? What do we owe? And what are we genuinely working toward?
That conversation requires vulnerability. It requires admitting what you don't know, what you've mismanaged, and what you're afraid of. And that's exactly why most couples keep postponing it.
But postponing doesn't protect you. It just shifts the pressure forward into a future moment where the stakes are higher and the options are significantly limited.
When couples finally do have the conversation, often after a financial shock, they usually say the same thing. We should have talked about this years ago together.
The patterns that lead to financial silence usually form early. One partner takes the lead on finances and the other quietly steps back without ever consciously choosing to disengage.
Over time, that dynamic becomes the default. The one who stepped back feels less entitled to have opinions. The one leading feels unsupported and increasingly alone in every decision.
What starts as a practical division of responsibility gradually becomes a financial blind spot, where one partner holds all the knowledge and both partners carry all the risk.
And when something goes wrong, a job loss, a health crisis, an unexpected bill, the partner without financial knowledge has no foundation to make informed decisions quickly.
This is why financial transparency between partners isn't just about trust. It's a practical risk management strategy that protects both people when life becomes unpredictable and difficult.
We talk about diversifying investments to reduce portfolio risk, but we rarely talk about diversifying financial knowledge within a relationship, and that gap is equally dangerous long-term.
Both partners don't need to become financial experts, but both partners do need to understand the household's financial position, direction, and the reasoning behind every major shared decision.
There's also the emotional dimension that rarely gets discussed. Money conversations feel threatening because they often expose the gap between where we are and where we thought we'd be.
That gap creates shame, and shame shuts down communication faster than any disagreement ever could. Most couples aren't avoiding money, they're avoiding the feelings that money conversations surface.
The solution isn't a single dramatic conversation where everything gets resolved. It's building a consistent habit of financial communication that feels normal, safe, and mutually respectful over time.
Start with facts, not feelings. What do we earn? What do we owe? What do we own? And what does our financial picture actually look like right now, together?
Once the facts are visible, the emotional reactions become easier to manage. You're no longer reacting to fear or assumption. You're responding to actual shared financial reality together.
From there, a couple can begin to align on priorities. How much risk is acceptable? What timeline they're working toward? And what financial security genuinely means for both of them?
These conversations don't need to be long or formal. Even a monthly 30-minute check-in, calm, structured, without blame, can completely transform how a couple manages financial decisions together.
The couples who build wealth consistently over decades aren't necessarily the highest earners. They're the ones who communicate clearly, align their strategy, and make decisions as a financially unified team.
Protection is part of that alignment, too. Life insurance, income protection, emergency funds, these aren't pessimistic choices. They're the foundation that allows confident, long-term investing to actually function safely.
When both partners understand the risk management layer, the investment strategy becomes something they can both support, because neither person is carrying the weight of uncertainty alone anymore.
We've found that when we discuss both the growth side and the protection side together, our financial decisions feel less stressful and far more grounded in shared values and clarity.
The irony is that the couples who avoid money conversations to protect the relationship are often the ones who end up most damaged by financial decisions they never discussed together.
Silence around money doesn't create peace. It creates distance, and distance over time becomes the very thing that makes honest financial communication feel impossible between two people who love each other.
The earlier you build the habit of financial honesty, the easier it becomes. Each conversation makes the next one less threatening, and the relationship financially stronger and more resilient together.
It's not about one partner being right and the other one being wrong. It's about two people choosing to see the same financial reality and navigate it together with intention.
Most couples wait for a crisis to force the conversation, but the ones who talk before the crisis arrives are the ones who actually have options when difficulty appears.
Financial readiness isn't just about having enough saved. It's about both partners knowing exactly where things stand, what the plan is, and what each person's role looks like going forward.
So the real question isn't whether your household can afford to invest or protect. It's whether both people in that household are part of the same financial conversation at all.
And if you've realized today that your household has been running two separate financial conversations, that awareness is exactly where real, lasting financial partnership actually begins for most couples.
Whatever stage you're at, the most important move is simply starting. One honest conversation, no judgment, no blame, just two people choosing to build their financial future together, deliberately.
If this conversation gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs it. And if you found value here, a like and a subscribe genuinely helps us continue.